The council begins outsourcing its services. According to the findings, Ipswich and Bury St Edmunds would be worst affected, and job losses could have a ripple effect on the local economy. The leader of the council, Jeremy Pembroke, says he'll do everything he can to ensure services are protected, especially for the most vulnerable in the community.
You'll see less money flowing around, and so you'll see the local shop that may close down. Parks like this you may see a little bit less tended as well, and you also might see some frontline services not being as frequent as perhaps they were, or you'll see high streets becoming more gappy in terms of vacant properties.
More than 60 people living near a secret military testing range in Essex say explosions and shockwaves are causing damage to their homes. The weapons testing range at Shoeburyness near Southend is run by a private company for the Ministry of Defence. The range operators deny any responsibility.
A retired couple from Norfolk have been talking about how they held a delivery driver hostage after continual problems with a new cooker.
They kept her locked in their house until the electrical company promised to do something about it. Malcolm Robertson reports.
For Sally and Ivan Langley, there's more to worry about than the threat of bad weather. Snow could well be on the way, but at their home near Norwich, they're concerned about the prospects of their new cooker arriving. To say the least, it's been a bit of a saga. The problems began when a new Hotpoint cooker was delivered a month ago. There were electrical problems, a second one was delivered, and there were also electrical problems with that. And when a third one was delivered on Tuesday, Ivan and Sally discovered it had a dent in it. Ivan was beside himself and blew a fuse. This week's episode really put the lid on it.
When we looked at the back, there it was damaged. I thought, that's the straw that's broke my back.
So she took the screws out of the back and got a hammer to it
to try and straighten it.
So frustrated was he that he held the delivery driver hostage and demanded that Hotpoint sort it out. The police were called, but it all ended peacefully with the promise of a replacement.
She wasn't really a hostage. I've locked the front door, but we gave her coffee, cigarettes, biscuits. She loved the dogs. She's met the first of the dogs. And she could have walked out the back door any time she wanted.
Thank you. Bye. And they could hardly believe it when a Hotpoint engineer this afternoon turned up to repair a cooker that had already been removed. A spokesman for Hotpoint, which is based in Peterborough but owned by the Italian firm Indesit, apologised for the problems. We've let him down and want to put it right, but we wouldn't encourage anyone to do what he did. He's told the Langleys a new cooker will be delivered tomorrow morning and is hoping their confidence in Hotpoint hasn't been dented by all this. Malcolm Robertson, Anglia News, Norfolk.
I wonder now football. The Norwich City manager Paul Lambert will have to watch Sunday's East Anglian derby with Ipswich Town from the stands after being hit with a two-match ban by the FA. Lambert admitted a charge of improper conduct relating to his behaviour and language to match officials following City's 3-3 draw with Reading earlier this month. He was also fined £2,500 after a personal hearing.
A Colchester-based military band is heading to Afghanistan for a Christmas tour. The band of the Parachute Regiment will perform at British bases at Camp Bastion and in Kabul. They'll also perform alongside American and Afghan military bands. Well, in a moment, we'll have the result of another People's Millions vote-off.
And as the Ashes gets underway, we've a prediction from one of the most famous voices in cricket.
Well, I think if they don't do it now, I wonder when they're ever going to do it. I think England can do it, should do it, and will do it.
You are in suspense, aren't you? I can tell.
He's very excited about this.
I am.
Fresh weather warnings have been issued this evening as snow showers continue to affect parts of the region. The situation is set to get worse over the weekend as temperatures plunge in an early taste of winter.
But are we ready? Martin Stew's been finding out how the east of England gets prepared for the unpredictable.
At Marlcross Primary School in Norwich, the prospect of snow is the hot topic of conversation. It might sound like fun, but another whiteout like last year would leave the head teacher with a big decision to make.
In an area like Marlcross, where the majority of the children can walk to school and can get to school, I think it's imperative that we keep the school open as much as we possibly can. Certain schools, such as the more rural schools, there's lots more pressure with transport links to those. There's a lot of pressure on those heads, far more than in a city.
Motorists too will have to adapt to the weather and react to the conditions, unlike this driver on the A11 in Wymondham.
In the early part of the winter, you often get some snowfall which falls onto warm ground and it melts fairly quickly and doesn't build up to be a great depth of snow. But the difficulty comes at night when the ground freezes and even a small amount of snow can make some very icy roads.
The most effective way to make the roads safer is still by gritting them. But remember the shortages we had last year of rock salt. That means it's particularly important for councils to allocate when and where they grit the roads. To keep costs down and supplies high, in Milton Keynes they use the latest satellite technology.
Grit for preventative frost, it's about 80 tonnes we use. But if we start snowing, we go up to about 400 tonnes a day. If the weather forecast can be more precise with the amount and timings, it'll be a lot easier to plan and get the right amount of grit down before we actually get the snow.
Retailers are reacting to the forecast too, with Asda's sales of winter warmers hotting up.
We've sold out of some of the gloves, hats and cold weather gear, so yes, that's definitely been first on people's list of things to buy.
It's more of a conundrum for smaller independents like Bulstrode's in Framlingham in Suffolk, who need to make the most out of every inch of retail space.
We just have to gamble on it. We just have to look at the forecast, see what's coming, look at the time of year. Welly boots this time of year, everything goes, you know, the weather turns, so people need a pair of welly boots. Obviously, if the snow comes on, they'll definitely need a pair of welly boots. And sledges, well, then we normally carry 500 all the time.
As the sledges' sales go up, we'll have to wait and see if the snow comes down. Martin Stew, Anglia News, Milton Keynes.
Well, Rachel joins us now to tell us about the latest weather warnings. Rachel, what have we got?
Yes, well, it just shows how volatile this wintry weather can be. We have had snow showers on and off today, mainly in Norfolk, but really it's only in the last couple of hours that the Met Office has issued these weather warnings for Norfolk and Suffolk, saying that we can expect further snow and, of course, some icy roads as well. So as you can see on this graphic, well, those snow showers have been gathering off the North Sea, clipping the east of our region throughout the afternoon, and we can expect more into tonight as well. Now, the Met Office is warning we could see between 2 and 5 centimetres of snow in quite a few places, and that's up to 2 inches. Now, of course, this wintry weather is continuing on Sunday and into the new week, but I'll have more details on that later in the programme.
Great stuff, Rachel. Thank you very much indeed for that.
Thank you.
She's tough as you know, hat, no gloves,
I
that
know.
Rachel, at the moment. Right, now for cricket lovers, the wait is over, and finally something to keep you warm over the next couple of months. Yes, the Ashes is underway. I know you're happy.
I've lost Jonathan, haven't I? I've absolutely lost him.
25 days the next year.
It wasn't the best of starts, actually, for England, hoping to win back the Little Urn Down Under for the first time since 1987. Having won the toss, skipper Andrew Strauss lasted just 3 balls in Brisbane.
Now, Essex's Alistair Cook showed he's getting back to his best, though, scoring 67 before becoming the first victim in Peter Siddle's hat-trick. England collapsed to 260 all-out. Australia ended the day on 25 without loss. Well, before play got underway, I spoke to one of the most famous voices in the game. We've heard him before. Now, if I say my dear old thing, and there's a number 11 bus, hopefully you won't think I've got something stuck in my voice. It's actually Henry Blowfeld I'm talking about, originally from Norfolk. He was only too happy to kick off with his thoughts on England's chances of winning this winter.
Well, I think if they don't do it now, I wonder when they're ever going to do it. I know it's the hardest ask in cricket, winning a series in Australia, but Australian cricket is in some disarray. England go into this test match in very good form, both from the batting and the bowling point of view, and very important from the catching, and particularly the slip catching. I think England can do it, should do it, and will do it.
Of course, Henry, you were there the last time we did it down under, 1987. What was your abiding memory of that tour, and can you see any parallels between that one and this one?
Well, the parallel is, as I've just said, that Australian cricket is in disarray, and it was then. I mean, my abiding memory then, both from 139, I think it was 139 in the first test at Brisbane, and we had some very good bowling. Gladstone Small bowled well, the spinners, Embury bowled very well in the series, and it was a very convincing victory. And I believe, as I say, I believe Strauss's side, and it's not entirely coincidental, Strauss is a Middlesex man just like Gatting.
Henry, let's end on your abiding Ashes memory, if you would.
Oh, well, it has to be 1981 at Leeds, when that extraordinary test match, England had lost it by an innings and many, so it seemed, and then Ian Botham hit that staggering 149 not out with great help from several of the tail, and then Australia had to get, I think it was 129 to win. Bob Willis, magnificent, 8 for 43, steaming down the hill, and I was on the air on Test Match Special when he bowled Ray Bright, the last man. And I think I caused a number of car crashes on the motorways throughout the country. People were rejoicing so much.
Let's hope for the same this time. Henry Blowfeld, thank you very much indeed for joining us.